I just go ahead and just book the hotel. We just booked a nice hotel. It's like a 3.5-star Marriott. It has like a kitchen, like a really nice, like just a nice for a couple days. It has everything. Huh?
Not too bad.
No, I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, I'm not even. This is ridiculous. I said, and plus we get nice beds and it's clean.
We are live, as a matter of fact, buddy.
So, anyways, we're talking about Airbnb.
Airbnb. I have actually not done that. I haven't done Uber either.
Uber?
Nope, never.
Oh, I like Uber. I like the Uber and Lyft. You have to download that, and that's a must-have on your app. Like you have to have that just in case something happens. You need a ride somewhere. Your car breaks down, and when you sign up, I'll send you the.
I think I've had it at one point. I just never used it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, always have that app ready on your phone, just because. Let's say, here's an example: like if your car breaks down or something happens, your wife is stuck. You can go to the store down the street, get an Uber, and get home, and maybe instead of having a tow truck or something crazy, you know, like you just need, you can just take $15-$20 for a ride versus like, you know. But nowadays people have like AAA insurance and all that. I guess that makes you can do that too. But here's the thing: I used Uber, for example. My wife.
Hey, it's the ultimate DUI avoider, right?
Oh, you have to, oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
You know, whatever. I know a lot of. I don't drink a lot. I mean, I very rarely drink. I mean, I do enjoy a cocktail here and there, but for no other reason, I just don't drink that much.
Sure.
But my wife and I have been talking about, we really want to go see a comedy show on the Strip, and
yeah,
you know, if we do that, my wife likes to drink. I would like to have a couple cocktails and to avoid a DUI for a few bucks.
And when I have family members come visit at the house, you know, obviously because you live in Las Vegas, everybody wants to come and visit, and they see. I'm like, I'll just tell them just take an Uber, just drop them off right there, like at New York, take an Uber there,
right?
And not with the whole parking situation. But if they're gonna have drinks and walk around and party and good time, it's not a big deal. If they don't want to take an Uber, I'll come pick them up. But Uber,
that's pretty cool. You could drop off an Uber like at the south end of the Strip. You could walk all the way up the Strip as a tourist to the north end, and then grab another Uber and head home.
Exactly. Yeah.
We might have to play a little bit of tourist down there. We were obviously just on the Strip just recently with the close down.
Yeah.
But once we get back rocking and rolling, I'd like to bring Matty out there and show him the difference.
Yeah. Do you guys have bikes?
You know what? My son does. We don't as adults. I want to get one.
Yeah.
And my wife, I'd like to get her one, but she's not a bike rider.
Yeah. Just go right down on the Strip.
I think that'd be cool, man. I want to take him down there.
Yeah, take him for a bike ride on the Strip if you can do that. We did it with the little one. On the sidewalk is a little harder because you have to navigate. There's all these weird navigations. Right. But I saw a lot of people riding their bike on the Strip, on the street, and it was pretty cool. And then at nighttime, people were getting all like glow lights, and they're all getting excited, and it was pretty cool, man. It's like people are out there still having a good time on the Strip, even if the casinos are closed. So
totally, and I feel a totally different vibe now. I went to the doctor's yesterday, and I brought my mask, and how are you treating this? How are you handling it? And they're like, yeah, it's whatever you want to do. Do you have, they took my temperature, I was fine. Sure. But we still kept a little bit of distance, but it seems like the normality is trying to come back. I noticed that I struggle not knowing, hey, should I put it on? Should I not put it on? Whatever. But it's really cool that that's starting to come back to normal. Tyson, how you doing this morning, big dog?
There he is.
I'm good, dude.
You there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I got you, buddy. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're just chopping it up a little bit.
Oh, sweet, man. Dude, I love it.
We're talking about just hitting down to the Strip. Ben just was down there the other day, and I was just talking about that. There you are. That it seems like that normality is starting to come through a little bit. You know what I mean? It's, it feels like people are just want to get back to that normal and just not. And my thing was yesterday, not really sure who was ready to move forward and who was still needing to wear the mask and how to really take that. So that was my deal yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I don't know how far you guys got along, but thanks for a couple days ago, and it was busy, man.
And that's, I'm ready for it to get going again, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Obviously we all have to be smart, take precautions and do the right thing, but and I'm ready to go.
Was Tyson there?
Yeah, I'm here. I got you.
I think, I don't know if it's my connection again. I got nothing else going, but hey, we'll get through this. Good to see y'all this morning.
Yeah. Dude, nice to see you guys too, man. What have you guys been up to, man?
Been busy,
Ben,
man.
how about you? Ben has been on a mission to find an Airbnb.
We were talking about
what we were
Airbnb.
talking about.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a little trip out of town. We're going to go to Utah. We're trying to figure out. We're gonna say, okay. So we were in this dilemma, right? Go to we love San Diego, but is going to California worth it right now with all the headaches that's going on? We're like, man, we'd love to go to San Diego. We wanted to go maybe like get a beach house for a couple of days, just hang out. But there's just so many. All you hear is about the headaches that are going on. So we're like, no, let's not deal with it. So another friend of ours recommended, I don't know if you've ever been there, Tyson. It's called San Paulo. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. Let me read this again. San Paulo State Park. Have you ever been there before?
No.
So Google it. It's looks like it's pretty cool, man. It's like a state park. I mean, just the pictures are amazing. They're beautiful in there. You do have to pay to get in. So I wanted to give a different experience for the kids, right? So let's do an Airbnb. I'm like, yeah, let's do Airbnb. So we're looking at $150 nights. I'm like, okay, cool. I can see this house is nice. So then the total is like $600-700 for like 3 days. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, just for a couple. And then we looked at it. Oh, there's the cleaning fees and
the cleaning fee, like all this.
$200. Like,
yo, DM them because like. They might be able to kick you some discounts on it, because some of these guys aren't being booked. So like, just to kind of give you guys a little insight too, like I'm going to stay in an Airbnb for like 6 months. Like they gave me a super amazing deal and I'm super grateful. So yeah, I don't know, just DM them.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna stay at a Marriott. We said screw it because
Marriott's dope too.
Yeah, we just book a hotel.
Well, that's the too with the family having a little kitchenette.
Yeah, it's a kitchen thing. It's like a little studio. Yeah. So
Marriotts are dope, man. Like I love Marriotts, man. When I was in Louisiana, man, like they had just great amenities, and you got to turn down certain stuff. Airbnb is cool because it kind of gives you like that, like in the city vibe. But yeah, another great space that's really beautiful for like a reconnection is Sedona. I haven't been to Sedona, but I heard Sedona is absolutely beautiful.
Sedona is gorgeous. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah. Is there water over there? Because that's kind of, we're water people. We love water, so that's why we go to Maui twice a year. We're always going ahead and stand. I mean, that's my dream. That's my goal. Is just to really stay. Like my goal and my dream is to like live in Maui for a couple of years. Like I always meet people that say, oh, okay, yeah, we were here for a couple of years. You're out. We're going home now. We just thought it'd be a great idea just to come live here for a couple of years. And now we're done with it because they get burnt out on the island. So I love to have that feeling in my life where like, okay, I'm sick of this island. I'm going back to America.
Yeah,
the feeling, I'll tell you.
It's nice, like Hawaii's nice just in general to visit. Those islands are what do they call it? Island fever. They call it island fever. And I think after a couple of years, you're just because you can get across the island in 45 minutes or whatever. But like the culture, like the food, like I like beaches. Like I love beaches. Like, dude, and then some fresh pineapple, coconut, papaya, like put that on a tray in the morning for me, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fresh fruit. That's the whole thing. I love those fresh like pineapple, papaya, the fruit plates, and then when you go somewhere and you order that, it's such a big difference on the taste and just the feeling. You're by the ocean. You're like, oh, it's awesome. Have you been to Costa Rica? Have you guys ever been to Costa Rica?
I have, man. Costa Rica was like, you see me light up, man. Costa Rica was so
dope.
cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love Costa Rica. I want to do that again. we went out to the beaches and we rented a house too, and we were out there for a while. But I like to do it a little differently this time, where it's more with the culture, right? Because we were like on this, like, we rented this really nice house, and it was like a nice property. And we met, actually, the person that was staying next to us owned the house, and they had retired. And a lot of Americans live there. They retired, and they're a realtor, believe it or not. They're still real estate in Costa Rica. I was like, man, this person,
That's
you know,
the life right there.
yeah. And they're like, just stay out there selling properties and selling to Americans and so there's a niche there. I mean, I'm sure it's a little challenging to get it going, but when you start getting going, or when you're doing it, why not, you know? So
Yeah.
I hear it's gorgeous. I haven't been down there.
But you traveled, Matty.
I've been, Cancun is really where I like to go. Cancun. I like to go to Acapulco, where my wife is from. But you know, it's not really a great place to visit right now. So, but I want to go back to Cancun. We had plans to go at the end of this year that we had to cancel, unfortunately. 'Cause I love it down there, man. I love that town.
Yeah.
You got a little Cancun in your backyard, man.
I do. I try, man, with all that jungle. You see all that I was trying to cut down?
Yeah, it looks great, man.
Man,
It looks great.
I'm still trying to cut it, man. I can't get high enough. I'm scared of ladders, man. I'm scared of heights. Big boys fall hard.
What is that? Is it the Orlando you have?
Yeah, it's an oleander, because my wall is, I mean, my ladder's 8 foot, so I think the wall is at 10 feet or so, maybe 11. And then the oleanders are another few feet up from there. So I mean, that's pretty tall, man.
Yeah.
I've broken some bones falling, man. I don't like to fall.
Yeah. Those things, I get it, man.
Falling.
Those things grow real high. If you just let them go, they get higher and higher and higher. And there's a lot in Summerlin. They're all over in the backyards, right? They put them in the backyards.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to hire somebody to get the rest, because I'm done. I can't reach the top.
And their branches are pretty thick too, you know. I can I'll send you a contact as soon as I get off. Pedro, he's super.
Right on. Yeah, man, this is just more of a task than I wanted to take on, man.
Yeah, and honestly, man, like for the amount of time, like that's been huge too. Like just the realization, just over the course of like owning business and doing things, like, yeah, I can cut the Orilanders myself, or I can do this myself, but the amount of time that it takes, and like the supplies, equipment that it would take to do it, and then somebody comes along for $100, you know, like I couldn't rent a machine and buy bags and like get it, like it's gonna take me all Saturday to do it, you know. And
right.
he comes here with two friends and knocks it out in 2 hours. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, makes a big difference. We hired a guy to get a tree out of our front yard. Cost me a couple $100, but there's no way I'm gonna cut the tree down, and they have the chainsaw. They cut it all down and they just put it all in the truck and got it away, and then they sealed it so nothing grows from it no more.
And that's the thing too. It's the taking the debris. So it's not, like you said, it's the time. Now I got the debris. How do I get it in the trash can? So yeah, I started doing it just because I had cleaned my backyard just to get some of them, but then it went crazy. So, and then I used it as punishment for my son when he wasn't active.
So when I was just gonna say that when I was little, my mom, you know, she would force me, and we used to like cut them. And dude, I never liked doing it. I never ever liked doing it. Like, it was not fun at all. So it's definitely a punishment,
work, man. At all. Yard work is not some people are like, oh, I like to plant, I like to cut the grass, or I no, I don't like any of that stuff.
No, I do it because I like to learn. I've redone my irrigation system. That's just kind of very simple. Like put it all together. Even the lighting in the backyard, the wiring. That's all I think it's very simple. I think it's just a matter of having the right person. Once you learn it, it's easy to do. But here's the challenge, man. Here's the challenge: is going out and getting the information, going out and asking people for help. Because you go to like Home Depot, like out of like the 50 people that work there, one person really knows the answers.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's been there for like 20 years, and he knows all the answers. All the
yeah, he
answers.
knows all the
Aisle 7 to 36.
Yeah,
He knows everything.
but he's not working today. He's off.
Right, and he's on, and and he only works like 4 hours a day.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You're like, I need that guy. Where does that guy come in? You're like, gosh, yeah, that's how it always is. Star Nursery, they're pretty good. There's some professionals there, but I don't know here's the thing, how confident are you in someone that they work there, that they're just selling the products, but they're not out there practicing, right? They're not out there practicing the everyday work, right? So
application,
for example, so you have to be friends with your friends Pedro to ask him, and he's gonna give you information, right? Pedro's gonna be like, yeah, you buy this, you buy that, and you get this part, you get. I'm like, why don't you just do it?
Yeah,
you're like, screw it, because he's not gonna go to Star Nursery with
like by the time they tell me, they're like, oh, you gotta buy this part, and then you gotta make sure that this part is this size so it fits in here. And then you go to Star Nursery, and then there's 6 steps, and I'm like, dude, how much is it going to cost for you to do it for me?
Well, we're not even factoring in the multiple trips back and forth to Home Depot. Kind of wrong ones, you know what I'm saying?
Every time I have a home project at Home Depot, eight, like throughout the time of the start of the project to the end of the project.
Sorry, you cut out there for a little bit, big dog. You said every time you go to Home Depot.
Oh, every time I start a project, man, it's at least like 5 to 8 trips to Home Depot. Any home project I do.
Absolutely. And I love Home Depot, man. I love to walk around those aisles. I love to get lost in stuff, think about projects, but what's dangerous is my wife is starting to like Home Depot.
I think it's meant to do that. Because I got screwed on that paint in my garage. That
right.
Paint.
I remember that.
Oh my God. So I usually go, when I go buy paint, I usually buy it at the paint store. I know that's what I've done. Like that's what I've learned. Go to the paint store. So we went, my wife, we looked at the colors, and she found that color that she liked, that she wanted the garage painted. It was beautiful color. All the girls wanted, this is all their decision. Okay, great. So I get the paint, and the guy tells me, oh, it already has, it's one coat paint, which I'm going to tell you right now, it's not true. It doesn't exist. That's a lie. You have to, before you paint a wall, especially a white wall, you have to primer it and, sand it down, make sure it's nice and clean. And so I'm like, okay, let me test this one coat. I bought 2 gallons. I put it on there. It looks beautiful when it's going on there. Then like a day later, it dries up, and you can just see like the spots. You're like, oh hell no. Went back, bought another gallon. So, but it's more expensive.
You just bought a primer.
Primer is cheap. Primer is cheap. You just put it on there, primer it. Oh, this is what a waste of time, dude. It isn't really so much. It probably would have. Anyways, point being is, don't waste your time. I probably lost like 40 on that.
I think the moral of the story is your time is a hell of a lot more valuable than money.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody says time is money. I know there's been a lot said in recent times. Time is more valuable than money because it's not renewable. You can always get more money. So I think that's a great point, man. Yeah,
point. The shortcuts, right? I think me and Matt always talk about the shortcuts. There is everybody wants the easy button. Everybody's looking for like the easy way to get it done. And I wish there was, man, but there isn't. I'm that guy that's been like, okay, great. And in the reality, there is no shortcuts to it. You have to work it and work it and work it and work it and work it until it starts working for you. And then eventually it starts to work. And then when you get the momentum going, you got to keep going. And then that's when people really quit. I've noticed that with.
That's where I quit. When I did my websites years ago, that's what I'm talking about. That's where I quit.
Yeah. Let's see. Tyson still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Like you were saying, you once you get that momentum, ride that wave and continue. because you don't know how long that wave's going to go, and you need to make sure you keep in that right direction and keep that momentum. And that's one thing I'm working on with the We Got Your Back group. We got that wave of going of generosity, giving, asking, and all that. But now that that's settled down a little bit, that wave is settled down. So, re-exciting that is where I'm challenged right now and figuring it out. So
now,
whatever phase you're at.
That's good. Yeah. So now you're gonna have to like evolve. What's happening right now. People, but here's the thing. People are still unemployed. People are still suffering.
100%.
Yeah.
People are. But I know what's going to happen is people are going to go back to their busy lives. People are going to go back to what, now they have to go back to work, or they have to get back to what they were doing. And people are a little bit burnt out, right? Now they're going to, it's the self, now it's natural, right? Being self-absorbed, right? Now you got to focus on your duties, right? Your job. And you can't really worry about you got to cut everything else outside, because these people had time. Even with me, I have work meetings all the time, and I have people like, yeah, I'm out here doing this and doing that. I'm trying to give to the community while this is going on. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to go back to work and start focusing on their job. Right.
Yeah.
Especially
one of the big things, man, like just to kind of add to all that, like, we go back to our busy lives and then we like focus on like working and this and that or the other thing. But, to Matty's point, man, at the end of it, it's incredibly important to always remain service-based first, and, I feel if we provide service first, there's a greater opportunity, and we back is yes, like we gotta evolve it a little bit, because people still need help, like period. There's like the poverty levels here are crazy, and on a general statistic, like earnings perspective, I think like the annual income is like astronomically low, like on a nationwide level. And, We Got Your Back, for example, is like, I read an amazing article in the New York Times a couple of days ago regarding the increase of suicides and like the concern for mental health during this pandemic.
Absolutely.
So, just the switch to that, that's a cool switch too, because it's not just like material items, it's, emotional connection too.
Emotional, man. I totally agree with that, man. That's, I mean, you can agree or disagree with what I'm going to tell you right now, but the survival rate, I'm telling you, like the chances of me getting, already, or getting sick, or the chances of me surviving is really, really high. But here's the thing: I was talking to my wife. She's like, we're at the hospital, and she's a nurse, right? But all these cases of people getting sick have really, really dropped, right? People aren't really getting the cold. Everyone's like, oh, like I haven't gotten sick. I'm okay. But people are not there because of the quarantine. We're not out there affecting each other, right? But here's the thing: what's going up, is the suicides. That's the thing. People are home. They're losing their jobs. They're losing their fever. Businesses. They're losing their marriages. They're losing their so-called friends. Because of their status. People thought they were on this like world, and now they don't have that anymore. And it's like that's their identity, right? They find that they lose their identity, and now what do? And it's this downward spiral. The spiral down, right? They're spiraling down. I'm always mixing those two up. I got to figure that out. But it's just a spiral. It's this, because I would say, is it downward spiral, or spiral down. I'll have to get those together.
I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing. It's like, is it pedal
blue
to the
cow
metal,
or cow with blue,
or metal to the pedal?
Yeah. Tomato, potato. Yes. It doesn't matter, dude.
Is it pedal to the metal or pedal to the metal? I don't know. So anyways, because it's the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. That's what we're talking about, man. It's and especially in Las Vegas, You're going to see that all over the world, all over the U.S., man. You're going to see that. California, you're going to see that. And that's the sad reality, man. I think everyone's been infected by it. We all have friends that have been affected by it. I don't think there's really anyone that hasn't had someone that they know that's like either a family member or a friend that has, done that, has taken themselves away from here, and that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough because I mean, I've personally
You got to keep mentally sharp, especially in these situations, because if you don't, you're going to subject to all the negative, dark clouds that are going to start entering your mind. You know what I mean? You can't. I know it sounds easy to say you can't when all the negative is surrounding you. I don't know what you guys do to prevent that or to protect your minds. I mean, I just try to not focus on those things and focus on things that I can affect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just had a friend that committed suicide a couple of years ago, man. And it got his memory just came up on my Facebook, and I wish he would have reached out to me, or I wish I had reached out to him more, although I think I talked to him a day or two it happened. So you just never know. You got to protect your mind.
Yeah. I've experienced severe depression. This was like 5 years ago. And it, at the end of it, it was such an honor to experience that. But at that time I didn't have anybody to relate with, or talk to about it. So I was really alone. And, I'm gonna be for real. Like, there were moments, especially after reading that article, that I was like, oh, there were split seconds where I was like, wow, what if I take these opiates and this alcohol,
sure,
and I don't wake up,
away,
sure,
right? And it was just one thing. Like, it was a person on Periscope that I followed, and he was a fitness person, and he started doing like his morning like talking about his morning routine, and like it shifted. Like, it was just that one thing, and being able to have support with somebody else, or at least being able to bounce off ideas. And I think there's also there's a shame too. There's this shame that comes up for people, like, oh, I'm not depressed, or I'm not feeling this way. I'm fine. But like, at the end of it, like, you're not, and like, I think in Western culture, we're so prone to like suppress our emotions. And, we don't have platforms like this, or people don't feel comfortable talking about what's going on inside, and I feel like what you guys are doing, and like just even having this conversation now, like somebody watching this, they might even feel better of talking about it, and then just getting it out.
Ben and I were just talking about that the other day. That one of my big WTFs on Wednesday, we just not tying it into that, but really we're just talking about that as men. I know I do that. I don't address things, or I just, change my focus and focus on different things. So I'm not either asking for help or maybe addressing the situation up front, where I will let it fester because I just figure I can do it better. I can just take it over instead of just addressing it and fixing it at the time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Talking about not reaching out for help and not, having that communication, because you're right. It does feel lonely. I know, as in real estate, you're in the same game. It gets lonely at times.
That's what we were talking about. That we go back to the funny story of like back when and there was always that stigma. You would see those commercials or videos back in the day. I forget how old you are, Tyson, but before phones and addresses, right? Guys were the GPS. Us men were the maps. We were the maps, right?
Yeah.
We didn't need we know how to get there, right? And
nothing.
we talked about
Didn't need nothing.
Right.
And instructions don't need it.
They don't need directions. And I remember my dad was that guy. he was a very, very stubborn guy. I think that really like, he was like, okay, I know how to get there. And he would study the map. And then remember, I don't know if you guys knew, but remember the Thomas guide?
Oh, I'm a Thomas guide master, brother.
So we always had one. My dad would be like, he'd tell me, this is the answers to your problem. He'd tell me, you got to get this, go look. And then when we get to the gas station, he'd tell me, go look at the Thomas guide and tell me and go find on the map. So like, I knew how to look in the map and go, okay, great. And really understand how to look at that Thomas guide.
Love them grids, man. Love them grids.
It was like, while you're looking at the Thomas guide, he's in the convenience store. He's like, to the cashier, he's like, hey, how do I get to this place right here?
Yeah. He ain't getting gas. He's over there getting directions.
Yeah.
But you know where the Thomas guide was, right? You know that was what? You know what's by? It's by the nudie section. So like you look, so instead of looking at the Thomas guide, you're like, you were peeking over. You're like, oh.
It was right next to it. Like,
yeah. Right before they give it up the secrets, man.
Behind it, you know, now you have to, then you had to ask for the Thomas guide, and it was still by the nudie magazines, right? Next to the Playboy magazine. You're like, oh shit, these guys know what they're doing.
Marketing, man. Marketing, placement,
right?
Product placement.
Yeah, they knew that. Like, oh, by the way, give me that too while you're at it. You know? Well, I was too young back then. But the point is that it's our ego, it's our strength. That's where we get our. I think a lot of the ideas, men need that ego to have that strength, right? To give you to say, okay, great. And there is a you do have to tap into that. Just like anything else, too much of it is going to hurt you, right? Anything too much of that ego, too much of that, I know it all.
Arrogance, right? And
exactly. There's confidence. There's a difference between confidence, being confident in what you're doing, and knowing where you're going because you've been there before and you've done it. However, when you've never been there and you've never done it, and you think you know how to get there, then I think that's the ego, right? So that's kind of the idea.
And I think there's something so cool about, like, if somebody asks you like, hey, do you know about this thing? And you're like, no, I don't, but I'd love to, you know, or I don't know where I'm going. Like, but the confidence in saying like, I don't know where I'm going is also equally as empowering, you know?
Sure.
That's like, you know, but growing up, Clint Eastwood, Arnold Schwarzenegger, so they never asked for directions.
No, those guys,
you know, I never seen them ask for directions.
I got this. Don't worry. I got this. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
But one of the
grab my arm.
One of my sales techniques that I've learned, and this is something I learned from seminars, is it's okay to say I don't know. But here's the thing: is if you don't know the answer, I always tell them. So if someone asks me, like, for example, this iPhone, goes, "Hey, what is this?" I don't know, but all I know is, and then counter it back with like, "But however, if you really want to know the answer, let me find out how to get that answer." Because what it is your words are powerful. And when you're talking to your customers, you're talking to your clients, and you let them know that you don't know the answer, but you're going to follow up. And you do follow up with an answer, or sometimes people just want to just say something to you to see if you have an answer and to see how just to talk. But that gives you the opportunity for the follow up. And I love it when people ask me a question that I don't know. And I say, let me write that down. Let me follow up with you that. And as soon as I get the answer, because there's people in the company that know the answer, or someone else, you can even Google it and find the answer, right? So you can follow up with that, even send them an article. Hey, this is where I got the information, or this is what it is. And then now you have, that's your reason to follow up. And people do appreciate, I love getting those kind of texts or those communications when someone sends me an information, when I inquire, right? Because you're asking, you want to know them a little bit more. And the thing is that we're just really the consumer or the person is really just tapping your shoulder, just trying to see how legit are you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
because at the end of the day, also, like the consumer knows a lot of information, and they have access to a lot of information, especially now with the internet. You know, they can Yelp you, they can Google, they can YouTube, whatever. And sometimes I feel that it's like a checkmate or a chess game, especially with consumers. You know, they set up specific questions to see if you know the answer. Also, if you know of any price reductions or anything like that.
Sure.
And then they kind of test you, right, to see if like, oh, okay, this guy knows his stuff. I'll rock with him. You know, like he's my rep.
Yeah. Oh,
And there's a lot of wrong information out
They
there.
already know the answer. Maybe they already know the answer, and they just want to see. They just want to see how you say it. That's all. You know, like what is this guy up to? And people do that. They do that. I think my wife does that all the time when we go car shopping. She already knows the answers. She just wants to know is the price is right and it's going to work and this is the numbers are going to be good. She already knows what's it. We're like, don't barter with her, man, because she.
And when you come up with those right answers, man, how much trust are you building at that point?
Yeah. And we've actually bought the same. I'm a Toyota guy. I love Toyotas, but we've bought 4 cars from the same guy, my family members, because he doesn't. We already want the numbers. We trust them, and he was working on the one on Sahara, and he actually ended up moving to the Henderson. He was like their sales manager, and we actually ended up following him all the way to Henderson because my mother-in-law's dad passed away and left some money. So as a gift, they said, okay, we'll buy you a brand new car. So that was a nice gift, right? But for my brother-in-law and for my wife. So they went to him and bought the brand new cars from him directly, just specifically looked for him and bought it. That's because he's been giving us such great service. He hasn't said anything funny. We trust the guy.
Because you trust him. You built that trust. And you got to know him. You started to like him. Now you just trust him because
we were like, yeah, we don't want it. We don't even want the whatever the little rug that they give you when you buy a car and put it in front. I don't need that. Just we'll take it and go. Just put the. My wife just wants that sun visor, whatever the sun thing, and
wrap it up and ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's the importance of like great customer service too. Like and just being honest and the referrals come from that. Like immediately when you were talking, man, I was like thinking about my barber, right? Like even if my barber were to move, or even if he's on Sahara and Valley View and I'm over on Warm Springs 215, like I don't mind, but
you need to shout him out with that dude, bro. Shout him out. Shout out with that dude. Dog.
Yeah. So it's Good Times Barbershop. His name's Moises. Like awesome, man. It's his shop. It's a funny story too. Like when I was a district manager at 24 Hour Fitness, I hired him, and I was like in transition with some barbers, and one of the barbers like totally jacked up my hair, and I saw this dude at the gym, and I was like, hey, like who cut your hair? And he told me, and then I go to him, and when I go to the appointment, I was like, yo, like I hired you,
right?
So he's been cutting my hair for the past, man, like 4 years. But like, I trust him, like I trust him. He understands my hair. And it's great, and the utensils and all this stuff is clean. The shop's clean.
Sure.
And even if he moves and, we're in the position, or we're in conversation to look for another place, right? Like we were in conversation to look for another place for him prior to COVID. But that'll transpire later on. But like, just because of that, like I'm getting haircuts from him, every couple of weeks, like I'm getting a business transaction, like a commercial real estate transaction, and it's just the law of reciprocity,
Sure.
And that's really where it works, because and reciprocity works because that trust is there, and it goes both ways. You've seen, you've been exposed to him, you knew him in the past, so it was automatically built in. It was so easy. And I've done that. I've done quite a few transactions with my construction people that I've been with in construction, whether it was a supplier, a general contractor, or maybe one of my guys, because they look, and he still call me to this day. I got a call yesterday from one of my guys asking me about the real estate market. You know what I mean? And I love those calls because they trust me. They trust what I got to say to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mess. I'm probably gonna piss off some people here, but I think you said you're talking about trust, right? And we're talking about us men. We're like, okay, But here's the thing, though. I think men, and I've been researching this because I've talked to a lot of I've been dissecting it down. A lot of it's about the trust factor, right? But also it's loyalty. You've been following this guy. You've been, we're always men. I want to say men are the most loyal to people that they trust. I'm talking for this because the reason being is I work with a lot of women, so I kind of, and women on the other hand, it's the availability. I think women are a little different, where if you're not there for them in some way, like if you have to not necessarily trust, but you have to almost comfort them, right? There's a comfort feeling because they're on the emotional sense. So you always have to make them almost feel good in a way, right? You have to make them happy, keep the emotion going. But with men, it's just trust. We don't really, men aren't so much on the emotion, but once we trust you, we're almost loyal to you, and we're gonna go wherever you go. Because you talked about your barber. I have to say the same thing. I trust the lady that cuts my hair. I don't even ask her anymore. I just say just cut it. I don't care. Just do what you got to do. And then I pay her, and that's it. That's just kind of because I trust the fact that she's gonna like cut my hair. She's gonna do a good job. She's not gonna try to rip me off. She's not gonna try mess with me. Give her the card. It doesn't really matter. So then I think the people that I'm just saying for me, once I have your trust, I'm loyal. I'm 100% loyal. It's like Ted Weens. I go to Ted Weens. Maybe there's better mechanics out there. I'm sure that they're cheaper. I'm sure whatever. But I've been going to Ted Weens. I've been taking all my cars down the street on Blue. I know the guy. He's been working there for many years. He's told me, hey, don't worry about that. Just take care of this today. We've had these man conversations. I'm like, great. And he's like, okay. And I trust the guy, what he has to say. And when he calls me, he's like, hey, we got to just take care of this, but don't worry about that. Next time you come in, take care of this. I just need that. I'm like, cool, man, I appreciate that. Versus trying to give me like a $1,000 bill. I just came in for the battery to get the battery checked, right? The oil change. But I trust them. And now I've been for years, my history. So they know me. They're like, hey, what's going on? Whatever. But that's kind of the idea. I think that if you're looking for a maneuver or your little move, men, if you get the men's trust, they're going to be with you wherever you go, we're going to follow. I even went one time. My hair lady, her business was a renovation. She's like, oh, you can come to my house and cut I'll cut your hair at the house. I'm like, okay, and I still paid her. It wasn't, she had her tools and I didn't care.
Because it's going to be done right, done to your specifications you want, and that speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Guys, we've been on here about 45 minutes this morning, almost 50 minutes, almost like, wow. Tyson, I appreciate you bringing some fire conversation this morning.
Thanks, man. Bro, I totally spaced. I had Uncle Rico on my shirt, man.
That's a cool shirt, dude. That's a cool shirt.
Uncle Rico, man. If he played in the game, they would have won state, man. I don't know if you guys.
That's not the
It's from Napoleon Dynamite.
I was gonna say you got to hook me up because I'm lost.
I was thinking it was Pet Detective. Remember Pet Detective?
Oh yeah. So Napoleon Dynamite. It's like it's such a dumb movie, but like it's a cult like classic, almost like Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller. Like it's just so out of the box.
I know I've seen part of it and just never didn't get me. So I may have to.
It's not good. It's not a good movie.
It's a horrible film, but man, you got to watch it.
It's almost like Sharknado.
Right.
I don't know if you guys ever seen Sharknado, but if it's on, I'll watch it. Like it's so stupid.
But sometimes your brain needs to have that stupid stuff,
Yeah, I know. We watched Dumb and Dumber with my girls.
Oh, there's another one.
They started asking questions. They were like, the movie's called Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
It's literally called Dumb and Dumber. My girls are like, I think I'm getting done watching this movie. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty stupid, but it's funny.
Yeah. Almost like a Seinfeld. Seinfeld had great seasons, an amazing show, and it was really a show about nothing. Like just people interacting.
Right.
Like people love it. So whatever.
I'm with it. Guys, thank you so much for Tyson for joining us on Friday. Ben, thank you for always being there Monday through Friday with me. Guys, we'll be back Monday morning for Marketing Monday. We got 3 more tips from my list. Actually, we'll just go ahead and do the last 4 tips that were on my top 10 list for marketing tips that I'm going to work on for 2020. We are podcasting, so I will be releasing a new podcast tomorrow on the anchor.fm. We are part of the Real Disrupt podcast syndicate as well. Whoop, whoop. So join us there. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate y'all. Have a great day. And remember, as always, slay the day, folks. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.